All right. Well, moving on to PJ.
P Jizzle. P Jizzle in the building.
We out here. Sheer. So, let me zoom in. This is actually Aaron Despiva does a show. Hot Brethren Aaron Despiva does a show. So
Yeah.
this is from his show.
Awesome.
Here we
Yes.
go.
Viva. Let's go, PJ.
Whoa,
my
that's loud.
God. Okay. First off, let's give it up one more time for AA Ron. Come on, don't be shy. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Oh.
Because a give it up for the host round of applause feels just as good as one meant for me. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying not to break my product placement contract. Okay, I was a tattoo artist for 15 years before I started comedy. And when people hear that, they're like, "Oh, why don't you tell more jokes about tattooing?" Okay, so real quick, round of applause. Who here can relate to working in a tattoo shop? That's exactly why I don't do it. All right. I
Pause.
still draw with color.
I like the beginning of this. I think he hit some just like fundamental things of getting laughs like right out the gate. Like the crowd work on a Zoom mic is difficult, but he accomplished crowd work on a Zoom mic. You know what I mean? And then used the laughter as part of the joke, which I think is just super dope. And then he transitioned into the TJIN bit of just using that. So like I love just the improvishness of it. It feels like it wasn't set up, and I like that.
Yeah, and that's a fun way to play with like the Zoom medium as well, as you can get creative with how you do your Zoom shows, and like he's clearly using the medium to his advantage and kind of playing on the show they're in. So yeah,
For
it's a very
sure.
creative way to like get quick laughs.
Yeah, it was solid.
I almost feel like he could do, and he opened up with a personal joke. He was a tattoo artist 15 years before doing comedy. I think he could do some silly examples of like tattoo artist jokes as well. Like a knock knock, like a silly knock knock tattoo artist joke. Just something silly to be like, this is what a tattoo artist comic would be. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, they're saying PJ's volume is a lot less. All right, we'll be sure to
Colored
Turn
pencils
it
when I
up.
can. And I'm always looking for like a better way to sharpen my pencils. And I may not be like really, really good at it, but I get the point.
Goose.
But then when people find out I'm a comic, they're like, "Ooh, you're a comic? Tell me a joke, like right now on the spot." So instead, I ask them what they do for a living. It's like, "Oh, you build houses? Okay. I know you don't have like a hammer and nails or like land to build on, but if you build me a house, I'll make fun of it." I don't know if you can tell by my face if I get real close. I have what's called Bell's palsy. It gives you stroke face. It but without the brain damage. You know? So it's like
Pause.
it's like
Pause.
diet stroke.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My favorite about this is this is something that comics do too, is when they will say a joke that they're expecting to get a laugh, they'll laugh at it. And then if it doesn't, then they're like,
Exactly.
But like I like the setup. I like the setup with the even with the information before the Bell's palsy. I like how he went into
I like how personal it is. I mean, like we get a sense of his past and
Yep.
like a physical thing you may notice about him off the gate. I mean, he kind of addresses that part of it as
For
well.
sure.
Because that's something when I mean, this is not the same at all, but like when I had a mustache, I I would like have to open up with mustache jokes because like that's what people saw.
Yeah, and it was a ridiculous mustache.
It was so, dude. I
It
knew
was.
I knew I had to
It,
shave it when I walked out to a show, and before I said anything, someone just I, I heard it from it was at the Basement Theater, so it was like a smaller black box theater. Someone from the
yeah.
back just goes, mustache. They said it just like so, just like mustache. I was like, I gotta shave. And then Louis Anderson told me I got to host. I used to host. There's this Bonkers Comedy Club. It's like a chain of comedy clubs. They
Yeah.
used to have one. They used to have one in Andretti's Go-Kart Center. We're right next to the jackpot machine, like on the other side of the window, doing comedy. You can hear jackpots going off and like kids screaming. We're doing comedy in there. But Louis Anderson told me before a show, he's like, do you want to be a comic or a comic with a mustache? So if Louis Anderson says shave it, I immediately
Yeah.
shaved it after that.
Yeah,
And
for
to this
sure.
day, I regret I did not get a picture with him. And I regret that's like the only regret, because I don't like to ask for pictures unless I work with someone.
Yeah.
And that was, I played it too cool. I played it.
Yeah.
I'll get him on the podcast, but like I played it too cool in that moment because I had a mustache. It would have been great
Weird.
Patreon content. All right, back to PJ.
It comes with all that stroke flavor, minus the street cred, the bragging rights, the super convenient parking spots.
Nice, power free.
It's definitely not like an ice cold regular stroke, but it fucks up your face a bit. Oh my god, it messes up your face a bit.
Oh.
Diet stroke. I'm trying to PG my set for tonight. Oh god. All right, I'm gonna show my age here. Those pants, those pants that girls wear that say "juicy" across the butt are this generation's bum equipment sweatshirts. And if anybody was
Nice.
hip to that, we can throw that joke away. This is a worthwhile here. I'm not recently I started learning from my mistakes. For example, I make a lot of mistakes, and now I know that. I'm definitely look, I'm not definitely the type.
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
I love the build up and the punch and the pausing in between to hit on the punch. That was just a well executed joke.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna say about Kinsey's is she could slow down a little bit and like pause. Just a pause before the punch builds anticipation and helps it hit that much harder.
Yeah.
Both before and after. I think Kinsey did a good job of like pausing after to let the laughter breathe. But I think she could have paused before some of her punchlines and they would have hit harder. But yeah, that was great timing on that joke by PJ.
Great timing. I enjoyed that a lot. I was like, ooh, I don't know where it's going because it's such a generic thing, like just to be like, I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But it was the anticipation in it that like built up, and he's like, cause I make a lot of mistakes. I was like, oh, well done.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. It's like one of those, that's like you get a Shasta swig for that one. PJ.
Oh, snap. A callback. Sponsored break. Oh, I need to yeah, we need to get some sound effects for this show. We need like a
ding,
Shasta.
ding, 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 ding.
Oh
A
yeah,
Shasta.
we have the share horn. We'll have to get some sound effects going. Here we go.
To knock on wood, but this morning I got the worst splinter, and I'm ready to talk so much smack. Like, take your wooden ghost screw. That's my new vibe. Wood knocked. I've heard the phrase jump to conclusions, like don't jump to conclusions. Well, jumping to conclusions has much worse consequences. Jumping to conclusions has much worse consequences if you have severe depression and you're already on the edge. This guy.
Silly wordplay joke, yeah.
Yeah.
The best part of being a male comic is getting the opportunity to meet lots of female comics and hear them talk about all the musicians that they want to get with. All right, I feel like my time's getting short, but real quick, do I have anything like 5 minutes? Oh my God, this is a 10-minute show. Hell yes. Okay. I'm in a group chat with a German girl, a Scottish guy, and a daily reminder that every other country speaks better English than America. But my life is pretty boring now because I'm married. That's a great. I love that reaction. My wife and I sleep like back to back, but we have like an arsenal by the bed, you know, like for robbers and stuff. And that's exactly what I tell her. The truth is, I keep weapons
he's
by
really got good
my
timing.
side of the bed because she's a crazy redhead and I'm really good at pushing people's buttons.
Believe that.
Fun fact though, this morning my wife made some wicked awesome pancakes. #WAP. But marriage is a team sport, you know what I mean? Like it's give, it's a little bit of take. It's so whatever money I make, I share with her. Just like whatever money she makes. No, actually that's a bad example. It's like this. Jazz. When she controls it, we do boring stuff like feed the kids.
I love that. I'm loving the comparisons between him and his wife. I feel like there's more that could be done there. Like she does this and I do that. There's a lot of like back and forth that I think you could almost like tag it up, kind of like how we were talking about with like Kinsey's, like the hoe joke or like the mispronunciation joke she was closing with. I feel like there's more of like, she does this, I do that. She does this, I do that. I feel like there's even more back and forth within that relationship you could kind of start to dive into.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he had some good stuff in there. Like there was lots of like silly wordplay stuff.
Yeah.
And then going back into the personal. My favorite thing so far, honestly, is very few comics get excited when there's more time. And I enjoy the fact that he took the time, like he was like, this is a 10-minute set, and got excited and had jokes ready. Right.
Yeah.
Like you don't find too many people that are like, oh, this is a longer set. I can go in. Most people freak out like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Because I just used up all my arsenal. I enjoyed the fact that he got excited about the moment. So even though it was a moment, he made the best of it and still hit people up with like a joke right out the gate. So it wasn't like a nervous thing, even though we saw that, oh, he just realized that it's a longer set. Mm-hmm. So enjoyed that.
Yeah. And he's doing a good job of like performing as if it's a live show. Like a lot of times people will phone it in on Zoom or just kind of recite it almost like, it's kind of like they're reading a monologue. But I think PJ's doing a good job of making sure his personality comes through the screen, which is something
for sure
I see a lot of like comics on Zoom struggling with. So he's doing a really good job of that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's get vulnerable. Here are some of my thoughts on being married. Oh shoot! Wait, I'm sorry. That last one crossed the line. I think TMI.
There's like this absurdity. Like there's the silly absurdity that's very subtle, and I think the
Yeah,
more he taps into it and the more he
for
becomes
sure.
self-aware of it, dude, like
Yeah,
there's something really absurd but very pointed about his
yeah.
comedy.
Do you know what it is? He is very, very likable.
Ah.
Like out of the gate, you like him because he's silly. He's got puns. It's personal, and he
Yeah.
like mixes the bag of tricks of jokes all into a set. Right? Like it's
Yep.
like, oh, you don't like personal stuff about who I am? Let me hit you with a silly pen pun. Like, what's the point? Like, it was just like, and so there's just a bag of tricks that he's putting on the table, and the silliness and the absurdity, it's like, oh, he's like a friend. That's really what it is. It's like you could
Yeah.
hang out with this guy. And I think from a bookable perspective, that's dope, because I think bookers would be like, oh, he's very easygoing. And you can tell that with his comedy. Like, you didn't have to meet him to know that he's chill and easygoing. You could just tell in the absurdity of his comedy.
And it's as a contrast to like how he looks as well, which I think plays well. Is like we talk about like in joke writing misdirects, but even
Yeah.
misdirects within like me dabbing or me knowing some reference like pause and things like that. Like a misdirect, I look like I would be climbing the Capitol wall with everyone else, but I'm actually the opposite. You know what I mean? So when you find those contrasts and he's
Yeah.
smiling, he's very charismatic, but if you just saw him walking down the street, you're like, oh, he may like stab me at any moment. So I think there's a little bit of that at play as well. Of like it's just a contrast to like what you would
For sure.
expect from him. But I mean, look at that
Yeah.
smile. Look at his little grin right there. Yeah, and that's something I
Yeah.
didn't, because we watched these ahead of time to like want to make sure we gave good feedback. But that's something that it didn't really stand out to me until we're watching it now. Was I was like, he's got some like clever, like just
Yeah.
very subtle,
Yeah.
subtle
You,
sense of humor.
it's a swag about his jokes and his delivery. That's what it is. There's a
Yeah,
swag about, oh, okay, like I got this. And I think that's also part of like in the 5 minute thing. He was just like, 10 minutes, let me go in on
true.
it. And I think that added to the intrigue of it all as well.
And what we're noticing, both him and Kinsey are smiling. And
For sure.
unless your energy is like Lewis Black or Bill Burr, where you're like angry, smiling helps
Goes a long way.
a long way because the
Mhm.
audience mirrors you in a lot of ways. And if you're smiling, they're going to be smiling. And a smile is halfway to a laugh. So unless you're
Yeah.
angry and that's your thing, smiling always helps.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good point.
My bad. But some of them were definitely winners. I have kids. At least one of them is wicked. Inflicted in the head. It's
Nice
hard to
misdirect.
tell when it's just like kids being kids, or if it's inflicted psychological damage. Like I have a 1-year-old, and like
I think both of those punchlines you could be more obvious with. He was kind of subtle
sure.
about the pointing. I think you
Yeah.
could literally just like be belligerent and the wickedly. We're talking about
Yeah.
the pause before the punch, wickedly pause, and then the punchline. And that's just like a
Mhm.
setup punch misdirect. Just a little pause there and it's going to help it land.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good joke.
Yeah.
like he eats his whole dinner and then sticks his fingers down his throat and throws it up.
Whoa.
Which is probably just weird kid stuff, right? But then afterwards he looks at you and smiles. Like, with this creepy ass smile. Like, and I'm just like calculating the therapy bill slowly, but like, what am I doing to this kid? But recently I passed in the point of no return as a parent where Baby Shark distracts my kid enough to shut him up, and I can still sing along with it without wanting to eat a bullet. But I'm not an idiot. Like, I know the bullet's not far off.
Eat a bullet's a bit aggressive. I think if
A
it's
bit.
Baby
A
Shark,
bit.
I think there's like it could be without wanting to like get eaten by a shark. I think there's a more
Yeah.
playful way, kind of like we said with Kinsey's like Death by Chocolate or whatnot. I think there's
Yeah.
definitely room for that.
I didn't say I didn't say who it was going to.
By the way, when Yoshi Strings goes black, he can still hear and he can still speak. He's just blending into the background.
Being no, I love my kid. Being a stay-at-home dad forces you to be creative with discipline. And like, look, moms all this time have had just wait till your father hears about this, right? And it can kind of, keep the kid in line. But when I say, wait till your father hears about this,
Nice.
that gets a reaction. Like fear, like I'm not a fan of.
So maybe tell us why that gets a reaction. Wait till your father hears about this. Now tell us like why that gets a reaction, or what is an example of wait till your father hears about something that's positive. Usually when wait till your father hears about this can be kind of like negative, but giving it like a positive example I think will help. It's a fun tag.
Yeah. No, that was good.
Fear. I like how most people's fears is, I feel like most people's fear is just a marketing scheme so that Big Pharma can sell you more Xanax. Like, it's just real if you believe in it, like the Easter Bunny, or staying just friends with an ex. Like it's all in the hype, right? Like it's all in the name. Like murder hornets, terrifying, right? But say we call them murder wasps, way less scary. I hear murder wasps and all I can picture is like high-strung, undersexed sociopaths from Connecticut with old money and a bone to pick with your manager. All right, I'm at the end, so this is we'll close with this. All right, I want to talk about a little about freestyle rapping. Comedy, like I said, is about sharing vulnerabilities. And that being said, I'm a pretty decent rapper, so I'd like to bust out a little something for you. If anybody can give me a beat, anyone? If not, I'll go a cappella. I'm cool. Look at that jazz, man! Like you can't even see the tape. We got the bow on top and everything. I'm the illest white rapper. My mom actually taught me how, and this is a little something I like to call stage presence.
Oh.
2 steps, fulfill my contract. Thank you for having me on, Aaron. My Twitter, my Instagram is my name, The Real PJ Keen. Facebook, just, I don't know, find me.
Find you, all right.
Yeah, the rapper misdirect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The presence was well done. And the callback to the TJIN, which was at the beginning, was a well orchestrated rap on his set, and he cleaned it was a nice bow on it.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah, it really was.
Yeah, it was good.
I enjoyed
that set.
I really enjoyed it. I love the absurdity, and I think the more it's that's part of like developing as a comic is realizing the quirks about you. Like I realized with sarcasm is like a quirk about me that I can really lean into. So like discovering like what your quirks are, and you can start to build and write material around those quirks is really how your voice starts to develop. And the absurdity is very fun and fresh.
Yeah. No, I like the personal, personal with the silly plus puns, right? Like you don't get a lot of that like in a comic. You know what I mean? Usually you get like one or the other, or like one more than this. But like I feel like his set was just personal, silly, and punny, all wrapped in one.
And that's what made George Carlin so great, was his ability to do so many different aspects of comedy.
For
He could do
sure.
storytelling, he could do wordplay, he could do one-liners, he could do so many different types of comedy, which is really what made his overall body of work so impressive, is just the diversity within his ability. So
Yeah,
PJ's got a nice recipe going there.
for sure.
All right. Well, we got one more here.
About it.
Oh, PJ said, did you just compare me to Carlin?
No, we did
Really?
not. Slow down, homie.
But just imagine. But just imagine.
We didn't compare you to Carlin, but PJ, for real, your set just had so much like depth to it. Like that's what we liked about it. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't like one type of style that you displayed. You displayed like multiple types of styles in one set. It was
Right.
just like refreshing to watch someone do different types of stuff in one 10-minute bit. So that's what I enjoyed about it. But Carlin, come on now, homie.
Let's see if lightning strikes twice before he's like, oh, am I Carlin, or I just luck into these dumb jokes?
Yeah.
I just love it. He's like, Joel and Yoshi just compare me to Carlin. And you like, not even like, well, you're like, no. What? Have you even done a live show yet? You do a Zoom show and now you're Carlin? You just like, it was just like how just fatherly that no was. It's like he was asking for another cookie. Like, no,
you cannot
you had
have another
yours.
cookie.
Now back to reality. I
You
can
didn't
just
give your
feel
brother
myself
the
as a
other
young
cookie.
comic seeing comics reviewing my set, that I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, all this feedback. I am Carlin. No.
But hey, I want you to believe that you can be Carlin.
Yes.
That's the one thing I will definitely let you know.
Yes.
That there's no stopping you from becoming Carlin.
Yep.
For sure.
For sure.
But we were not comparing you to Carlin. Let's make sure we don't get that twisted. But I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, from a bookable perspective. If you cut off like the beginning of it, right? Like that was a bookable set.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Like because it showed a lot of personality. You showed different types of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Really, probably the only thing I'd say is like, if a joke doesn't hit, like let it go, or have something like in the chamber and hit. But outside of that, here's the thing: comics, bookers aren't going to watch, like, they're not watching your whole 10 minutes either. So they're watching like either something at the beginning, or they'll go like I've heard bookers say they'll watch a little bit at the beginning, fast forward to the middle, see if they can still laugh, and then fast forward to your closer. Like they'll just go like a minute and a half before your closer, and that's all they'll watch, because they're watching a lot of comedy. So just know that that's kind of where some bookers will just book. But good stuff, man. Good stuff, PJ.
Yeah, agree, man. Keep it up. Yep. I appreciate you tying that back around, because we're not saying he can't become Carlin, but one thing at a time. One thing at a time. But you're on the right track, PJ, so keep it up.